we're going to walk you through getting your machine turned on, threaded, and a bobbin wound. Now this is straight out of the box. There's a few things still kind of attached to the machine. So before I turn it on, there's a little cardboard piece at the top. If your dealer hasn't taken that out, that should be removed. And then I'm going to lift up the presser foot just a little bit, just by its entire base, and pull out this yellow piece. That's there for shipping. And there's probably a little styrofoam piece still on the bottom underneath the free arm. So go ahead and just take those off. There's a little tape across the bobbin area. All right, so now we're ready to just go ahead and turn it on. While it's kind of powering up, I'm going to show you the foot control. Foot control has this nice little place where you can hide the cord, but notice how it kind of double backs here and then plugs into the side. So I'm going to undo that. And if you always wind the cord clockwise, so naturally if you're right-handed, you're going to find that you'll double back into this little area here, pop, pop, and then this will fit right back into the side. So that's the best way to travel with your foot control. So you can unwind just what you need, and then this will plug in right down here at the bottom edge of the machine. So just go ahead and slide that all the way in. One thing nice that this has is if for any reason you forget your foot control, there is a start-stop button where you can adjust the speed and just use your finger here to do the machine. So we haven't turned this machine on until it has arrived here. So the first thing that comes up is languages. So I'm going to touch English, and that should set me all the way up for what I need it to be. So we'll just put this down on the floor. So when you have the machine comes to you, it is and does have some white bobbin thread in here. So we're going to go ahead and take that on out. Love these big bobbins. So when you go to wind a bobbin, make sure you are ready to, with the spool. If it's a small spool, you might only want to wind this about half the distance. So I'm going to reach over and get a new bobbin. You're going to notice that the silver parts of the side, that's the part that really matters. When we go to put that bobbin on our bobbin winder up here, the silver always goes down. All right, so let's do green thread on our machine. As you put your spool on, I'm going to go ahead and put a spool cap over its edge. I'm matching that with the size of spool I'm using. So if you've got a smaller end, you need one of the smaller spool caps. You've got 3 in with your accessories. So you're going to come all the way over. We always use this first guide underneath behind the machine. Just take your hands, both of them underneath, and it'll hook under that part there. And then we're going to come up to the pre-tensioner. That's right here. And there's a little arrow pictured on the top of the machine of which way you need to wrap it around. We're going around clockwise. Looks like it actually wraps around itself, and it does. Take your bobbin, place it silver side down, and then once again there's a little arrow on your machine of which way to wrap the thread around here. Since this is cotton thread, a couple wraps will do just fine, but let me show you a little trick. There's a cutter underneath the bobbin and the part that engages the bobbin. So I'm going to come around here with my long tail and cut the thread and engage it all at once. I am not stepping on the foot control. This is part of this little motor. So when you flip it over, it will spin for you. Also, your screen changes. So if you want to speed up or slow down the winding process, you can move that. You can plus or minus it. You're going to notice there's lots of ways to change settings. Okay. And then if you want to just stop it, you can go ahead and flip it up. I'm going to go ahead and let it fill up all the way. It will stop when it's done and flip off. Take your bobbin and then come under that cutter once again. Ta-da! And it cuts your thread. So for the bobbin case here, what we want to do is silver side goes down into the bobbin first. Okay, so that means you always do this correctly. There's a little groove right here on the side. You're going to bring the thread all the way down that groove. Notice I'm kind of pinching the top of the bobbin, and that keeps the bobbins from spinning as I bring it across and down the front of that bobbin case, and I'm going to bring it up into this kind of the loops of the bobbin case there. And that's all I have to do. So what I'm looking for is this is kind of up. This silver part here is actually kind of straight across as I put that straight into the machine. We'll do a video that's a little bit closer and you can see how that works. We're going to go ahead and use the cutter here to cut the thread and then just close the door because we can forget about it. The other thing that we have still on this machine, so while I'm down here, is a film that came with the machine. I'm going to go ahead and take this off so it makes it really pretty. And there we go. It's like the best part of getting a new machine open is taking off all the plastic. Ooh, pretty. All right, nice and ready to sew. Okay, so when we're ready to thread the machine, make sure your presser foot is up. We're going to undo from the pre-tensioner here and go ahead and use that guide in the back. We're going to come straight down. There's an arrow right here indicating to do that. We're going to come straight back up, and we're going to come in on the right and down on the left, and it will hook right into the take-up lever. There's one guide right at the top of, or I should say at the edge of the machine here, right here, and then there's one guide at the top of the needle, also open on the right side. Now we'll do a needle threader video, so you'll get nice and close up of how I'm doing that, and it will just let you pull that loop right on through, and we're ready to start to sew. Now one thing I always like to use is this slide on table. Let's go ahead and put that on right now. So we're going to go ahead and slide it, and it attaches nicely, kind of gives you that wonderful platform for sewing. And I'm going to just take my fabric, I've folded it in half so I can test out and see if everything is working as it should. Now notice there's no lifter in the back, so when you step on the foot control, the presser foot will go down for you and it will start. Now that little extra noise is just, it's a first stitch after you've turned it on, so that's normal. And right now the machine is going really slow for me, so that's because the speed control was at minus when we took it out of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and push that all the way up, and we are ready to go. Oh, she purrs. Beautiful. Now when you're done, you do have the scissors where you can touch, and it will not only cut the thread, but it will also lift up the presser foot. And you can check to see that your stitches are the same on the front as they are on the back. And that should be true because you have the same thread in your needle as you do in your bobbin. So I want to take you into our next lessons as we go into all the screens and more detail on the needle threader and our bobbin and taking care of this machine. And we're going to have a fabulous time together. So we'll see you at the next video.